Well, I guess composting to me just makes ecological sense.
The idea is to put it in any kind of vegetable material into a big pile and let the bacteria that are on those vegetables and that are in the environment at large, including soil bacteria, work to chew them down.
Food waste, when it is put in a compost bin and turns into nice, good fertilizer.
So you're taking something that was part of the earth and putting it back in the earth.
It doesn't really make sense to be diverting all those nutrients to a landfill.
You have all the grass clippings and leaves and kitchen scraps. Put them in a pile, provide some moisture and some air, and that big pile of garbage that at one time might have collected rats turns into a much smaller pile of powder, of dark brown powder that can be added to garden soils.
Composting is just the right thing to do. It's the logical transition when we're trying to move towards zero waste.
You kind of kill two birds with one stone. You're limiting the amount of food waste that is taken to a dump, which is extra resources to bring everything out there. But you're also giving back to the environment the way it's supposed to be.
It makes a lot more sense for them to go back into the soil to, keep the nutrients in the cycle.
So the big advantage of compost is that it anchors nutrients in the soil. So if you add a little bit of fertilizer with a well-composted soil, that fertilizer will stay in the soil until plants need it. Without compost, the fertilizer tends to run right through the soil when it first rains.
Like banana peels and newspapers, things that would biodegrade within a couple of weeks out in the open environment, can stay in a landfill for up to 50 years, even more sometimes.
You can expect this to be usable compost easily within 3 months. In the winter, you'd have to let it go for about 6 months before you could use it as compost. And you can tell the compost is ready to use because it looks like flaky, friable dirt and has no recognizable vegetable parts.
That you see there is going to wind up being composted, whether it be banana peels, napkins, leftover servings of a protein item, bread. The dish room upstairs in DeWick has a pulper. Now what a pulper is it's an industrial garbage disposal facility. And what they do is all of the waste that comes back into the dish room is ground up and put into this kind of form is what it looks like in the end. This is a combination of proteins, which would be meat products, fish, vegetables, and paper. Paper is in this as well, which is fully compostable as well. Here's an example of the kind of raw food waste that's processed from vegetables. It's vegetable ends and peelings and what's cleaned off, but none of it goes to waste. Tremendous tonnage has been taken out of our waste stream in this facility. And the composting is also going on in other tiny halls.
The compost goes to 2 different places. It goes to this company called Herb's Disposal, and it goes through a company called Save That Stuff. And the endpoints are different for both companies. Herb's Disposal takes it actually to Maine, and Save That Stuff takes it to various local composting facilities. Opened up 2 public compost bins on campus for off-campus people and people in the dorms who really want to compost. They can bring their compost there, and actually our office here does it. And that compost is picked up by our grounds crew, and it's put in with our yard waste.
It couldn't have worked out more perfectly because I was looking for a place that I could bring my compost so it didn't have to go into the trash. I bring my compost bucket into work, and it takes me 5 minutes to walk up the hill and drop it off at Tish.
Onions, grapes, some eggshells, lettuce, I think we've got some kale, Swiss chard.
I would love if it got to the point where, now if there's not a recycle bin, a lot of people, especially on the Tufts campus, ask where the recycling is. I would love to see, it get to the point where people ask, well, where's the compost? Is this compostable?
Looking forward in the future, maybe someday we can have composting in every dorm. We can try to be ahead of the curve and compost on a smaller scale, because cumulatively that adds up a lot.